In the vastness of space, the alien armada moved like a dark storm across the stars. Millions of ships, each larger and stronger than any human imagination could hold, glided through the void in perfect formation. At their heart, the command fleet floated like a city of war, its hulls gleaming with energy shields, its weapons ready to annihilate anything that dared to oppose them. Admiral Kor, the leader of the armada, observed the stars from his flagship's bridge. His eyes narrowed as he studied the latest readings. A strange signal had appeared at the edge of their controlled sector, faint but persistent. The aliens called it an anomaly at first, but its pattern was unusual, sir, an officer said, bowing slightly. The signal is moving. It shows a vessel approaching. It is unlike any design we have catalogued. Kor's mandibles clicked softly, a sign of irritation. Send a scout. I want to know exactly what we face. This could be nothing, or it could be interesting. From the shadows of the armada, a small scout ship accelerated toward the source. But the moment it reached the coordinates, the unexpected happened. The signal grew stronger, and before the scout could send a report, it exploded in a sudden burst of light. The bridge of the flagship erupted with alarms. Officers shouted over one another, trying to understand what had just happened. What destroyed it? Kor demanded, his voice sharp. No one had an answer. Sensors showed a small, single ship, humanoid in shape, moving at impossible speed, striking the scout and vanishing before the larger ships could react. Kor's claws clenched around the control rail. Prepare the fleet. Whatever this is, it is not ordinary. I want it stopped before it can do more damage. Far away, in a hidden part of space, the small human ship known as the Elbow of Fate glided quietly through an asteroid field. Its hull was compact, sleek, and unassuming, yet inside every inch was built for speed, stealth, and precision. Captain Elias stood on the bridge, his hands resting lightly on the console. He watched the stars with calm eyes, as if the vast emptiness of space were a familiar room in his home. Around him, the crew moved efficiently, each knowing their role perfectly. Scanners show an armada ahead, Lieutenant Mara said, pointing to the display. Multiple capital ships heavily armed. They're moving fast. If they detect us, Ilias gave a small, confident smile. They won't. We move differently. They think with size. We think with surprise. Mara frowned slightly. You make it sound easy, Captain. Elias shrugged. It's never easy, but easy is boring. Let's see if we can make them rethink their whole strategy. The human ship slipped through the asteroid field like a shadow. Its engine pulses were irregular, designed to confuse sensors. Its hull shimmered faintly, an effect of the adaptive alloy that could absorb energy attacks and repair minor damage automatically. Every system was made to outsmart the enemy, not overpower them. Meanwhile, the alien armada formed a perfect crescent in space. Kor gave orders, each one precise, each one calculated to crush any intruder. Their ships began a sweep, scanning every asteroid, every pocket of darkness. The fleet's confidence was absolute. They had faced thousands of species. None had ever challenged their power and lived to tell the tale. Yet the humans were not ordinary. As a scout ship tried to flank the Elbow of Fate, it suddenly vanished from sensors. Then, without warning, a precise energy beam struck the scout's engine core. The alien vessel erupted, leaving only drifting debris in the void. Impossible, shouted an officer. The human ship. It moved faster than our sensors. How is this possible? Kor's eyes glowed with anger. They are not ordinary. They are clever, and clever is dangerous. Send the fleet. No ship may leave alive. But the humans were already moving. Using the asteroids for cover, they executed hit-and-run attacks, striking small groups of alien fighters and disappearing before reinforcements arrived. Their tactics were unpredictable, frustrating the alien commanders. Lieutenant Mara leaned over the console, checking the damage reports. Captain, they're adapting. Each time we strike, their fleet changes formation. If we're not careful, Elias interrupted, his voice calm but firm. That's the point. Let them adapt. We are the surprise. We are the variable they cannot predict. Remember the lessons from the simulations and from history. The bigger they are, the harder they fall when they make mistakes. Mara shook her head slightly, half in disbelief, half in admiration. You really believe we can do this? Elias glanced at her, a small smile tugging at his lips. I don't just believe. I know, we are humans. We survive, and survival isn't just about strength. It's about courage, thinking fast, and sometimes doing what no one else dares. Back in the alien command, panic was beginning to spread. Ships designed to crush worlds were being destroyed in small numbers by a single human vessel. Orders were shouted, formations were adjusted, but every move the aliens made was anticipated, or rather, outsmarted. "Bring in the heavy cannons," Kor demanded. "Lock onto that ship. Do not let it escape this time." But when the massive weapons fired, the human ship twisted and turned in a pattern no alien software could predict. The energy beams hit empty space and the humans moved closer, striking the alien vessel's weak points with uncanny accuracy. On the bridge of the Elbow of Fate, crew members worked in perfect synchronization. Pilot Joran twisted the ship through a narrow asteroid gap, while engineer Lila recalibrated the energy beams for maximum impact. Elias watched it all unfold, calm as ever. "Steady," he said. "We don't need to destroy them all. Just make them think twice." With a sudden burst of speed, the human ship struck the alien scout group's engines, disabling several at once. Then in a single daring maneuver, it slipped behind the remaining ships and fired a concentrated energy pulse that destroyed the largest cruiser in the formation. A stunned silence fell over the alien command. Officers stared at the displays, jaws dropped, mandibles clicking nervously. How is one human ship doing this?" one whispered. Kor slammed his claw against the console. "No more waiting. All ships converge. Surround it. It must be destroyed." The human ship, however, did not retreat. It moved with purpose, dancing between asteroids and using the nebulae for cover. Every attack was calculated, every maneuver risky but precise. The crew's trust in Elias was absolute. They had trained for this, learned to anticipate, to improvise, to act as one. Mara glanced at the captain. "It's like the ship has a mind of its own," Elias smiled. "In a way it does. But remember, it's our minds guiding it. That is the difference. We don't just react. We create the future, one choice at a time." As the human ship disappeared into a cloud of cosmic dust, Kor realized the truth. The humans were not just clever. They were fearless, unpredictable, and they fought with a kind of instinct the aliens could not calculate. The Armada regrouped, battered and confused. Reports came in. Several cruisers destroyed, others crippled. The alien soldiers had never faced a foe like this. Kor's eyes burned with determination. "This is only the beginning," he said, his voice low but resolute. "We will not be humiliated by a single human ship. Find them, destroy them, no matter what it takes." Far away, the Elbow of Fate sailed on. Stars streaked past the viewport as the ship moved silently through the void. The human crew celebrated quietly, but they knew the battle was only starting. The alien armada would regroup, adapt, and come for them with full force. Captain Elias looked ahead toward the unknown. "They think they are the strongest," he said softly. "But they haven't met humans like us. Not yet." The crew exchanged determined looks. They were ready for whatever came next. The small ship might have seemed fragile against the giant alien armada, but its name, the Elbow of Fate, would soon echo across the galaxy. In the darkness of space, one truth had become clear. Size does not guarantee victory. Courage, ingenuity, and unity could bend the path of fate itself, and the humans were just getting started. The alien armada was in chaos. Word of the human ship's victory over the scout ship spread like wildfire across the fleet. Officers argued endlessly on the command bridges. They could not understand how a single small vessel had caused so much damage. Admiral Kor paced across the bridge of his flagship. His eyes burned with frustration, and his claws tapped impatiently against the railing. This small ship is a problem we cannot ignore. Prepare the fleet for a direct attack. Surround it. Destroy it. I want it gone before it can harm another of my ships." The alien captains nodded, though unease shadowed their faces. They had never faced an enemy that moved so unpredictably. Their weapons and shields, tested against countless species, seemed to fail against the humans. Meanwhile, in the hidden corridors of the Elbow of Fate, the human crew worked in quiet harmony. Each member knew their role, and the trust between them was unspoken but complete. Captain Elias stood on the bridge, watching the approaching armada through the ship's transparent shields. "Lieutenant Mara," he said, "they're coming faster than I expected. Full formation. They think numbers can intimidate us. Let's show them otherwise." Mara nodded. "I've been calculating their formation patterns. There's a weak point near the center. If we can strike there, Elias smiled slightly. Then we strike there. But remember, speed and surprise are our best allies. They expect one thing, we'll do another. That is how humans survive. Pilot Joran grinned. Time to dance, Captain? Elias chuckled. Time to dance. The alien fleet advanced like a tidal wave. Massive ships glided through space, their energy shields glowing and weapons ready. Yet the humans did not panic. They moved through the asteroid fields and clouds of cosmic dust, using every natural obstacle as cover. The humans' sensors calculated angles, velocities, and timing, turning even the most dangerous sectors into opportunities. When the first wave of alien fighters attempted to flank the elbow of fate, they were met with confusion. The ship seemed to vanish from sensors, then reappear behind the lead fighters. A single precise energy pulse disabled the engine of the front ship, causing a chain reaction that destroyed several others. On the alien command bridge, the officers were in disbelief. Impossible, one shouted. It cannot move like that. Our sensors, they cannot track it. Admiral Kor's eyes narrowed. They are not just fast. They are clever. And clever is dangerous. The human ship moved deeper into the armada, striking weak points with calculated precision. Every maneuver was risky, but it was executed with skill and unity. Engineers monitored shields and weapons, recalibrating systems in real time. Pilots twisted and turned through asteroid gaps, narrowly avoiding collisions. Captain Elias watched calmly. Remember, he said, we do not need to destroy them all. We need to make them doubt themselves. One wrong move can turn the tide in our favor. Suddenly, an alien cruiser emerged from behind a nebula, its massive cannons aimed directly at the elbow of fate. Pilot Joran twisted the controls, sending the ship into a rapid spin. The alien weapons fired, but they missed by meters, close enough to scare but not enough to damage. Engineer Lila's fingers flew over the console. Shields holding, Captain. But they're adapting faster than we expected. Elias nodded. Good, let them adapt. That is our advantage. Humans survive by thinking ahead. With a burst of energy, the human ship shot forward, its weapons striking the cruiser's engines. The massive alien vessel shuddered and spun out of control, colliding with two smaller ships. The explosions lit the dark space with a brief, dazzling fire. The alien commanders regrouped quickly. They realized their brute force was failing. Their strategies, designed to overwhelm weaker species, were useless against the humans. Every attack was countered, every formation broken. Admiral Kor's voice was firm, commanding, but tinged with frustration. All units focus fire on the central sector. The ship is clever, but even clever ships have limits. Destroy it now. But humans do not fight like other species. They relied on intelligence, improvisation, and courage. The crew of the Elbow of Fate moved as one, each action synchronized with the others. They used small drones to create decoys, forcing alien ships to fire at shadows while the real ship moved undetected. Lieutenant Mara's eyes widened. Captain, they're reacting, but they can't predict us fully. If we continue this way, we can lead them into the asteroid field ahead. Elias's lips curved into a small smile. Exactly. Let's guide them where we want. The battlefield is ours if we think faster than they do. As the aliens pursued, the humans led them into the asteroid field. Suddenly, the Elbow of Fate vanished behind a massive rock formation. When the aliens entered the field, their massive ships struggled to navigate the tight spaces. Many collided with asteroids or each other. Small human strikes disabled weapons, further creating chaos. The alien fleet commander growled. They are too clever. Every step we take is predicted. Our advantage is gone. Captain Elias seized the moment. Now, he said quietly, strike the weak points. One decisive blow. Energy beams from the Elbow of Fate tore through the alien ship's engines and weapons systems. Several cruisers spun out of control, while others were forced to retreat. The human ship remained untouched, its shields absorbing minor hits while the crew continued to calculate and act with precision. Finally, a moment of quiet descended in the chaos. The alien fleet had suffered heavy losses, their morale shaken. Officers argued and panicked. For the first time, they realized that strength alone would not win this battle. Admiral Kor's voice was low but dangerous. This human, it is unlike any enemy we have faced. Prepare for full assault. No mercy, but be ready. It may survive, but we will learn from this encounter. In the Elbow of Fate, the crew celebrated quietly. their relief tempered by awareness of the larger war ahead. They had survived the first major encounter, but they knew the Armada would regroup. The humans were clever, but the aliens were vast and powerful. The coming battles would be harder, more dangerous. Captain Elias looked at his crew, pride shining in his eyes. "We've made them think twice," he said. "But our fight is far from over. We will need courage, speed, and wit. But if we trust each other, if we act as one, we can face anything." Pilot Joran leaned back in his seat, a grin spreading across his face. "I like our odds, Captain. They don't expect us, and they never will." Engineer Lila nodded. "Their numbers may be greater, but we are humans. And humans survive," Mara smiled softly. "It is more than survival. We are showing them what humans can do. One ship, one crew. We are making our mark." Across the galaxy, word of the human ship spread. Alien species that had heard of the battle began to whisper about the small, clever vessel that had outsmarted the mighty Armada. The Elbow of Fate became a name spoken with caution and curiosity. No one understood fully how a human crew could challenge the strongest fleet they had ever seen. Captain Elias knew the journey ahead would be harder. The aliens would come with more ships, better strategies, and more destructive weapons. But he also knew the truth about humans. Humans were not the strongest in size or raw power, but they were resilient, creative, and courageous. They could turn impossible situations into opportunities. Elias's eyes swept the stars, calm but alert. They think they can overwhelm us. They do not understand humans, and they will learn soon enough. The Elbow of Fate sailed into the darkness of space, a small, unassuming ship carrying humans with unmatched courage and ingenuity. Ahead lay more battles, greater challenges, and the unknown depths of the alien Armada. But the human crew was ready. Their spirit was unbreakable, their unity unmatched. And in the silence of the cosmos, one truth became clear. Size does not guarantee victory. Ingenuity, courage, and unity can shape the fate of even the strongest adversaries. The humans were just beginning to make their mark. And the galaxy would soon remember the name that had already begun to echo through the stars. The Elbow of Fate. The alien Armada had retreated, battered and confused. Admiral Kor's flagship hovered at the edge of the asteroid field, surveying the losses. His officers reported damaged cruisers, crippled weapons, and hundreds of lost soldiers. For the first time in his long career, Kor felt a cold unease creeping through him. One small human ship had challenged his Armada and survived. "Bring me all available data from the battle," Kor ordered, his voice sharp and controlled. "We must understand this human. Every weakness, every pattern, every mistake, compile it. I want to know how one ship could do this to us." Officers scrambled to obey. Fragments of alien ships had been recovered and analysis began immediately. Every reading confirmed what Kor already feared. The human vessel was unlike any other. Meanwhile, far from the Armada, the Elbow of Fate glided through a dense nebula. The crew had taken a moment to regroup. Their victory had been significant, but the danger was far from over. Captain Elias stood on the bridge, looking at the swirling clouds of gas around them. "The aliens are intelligent but rigid. They follow rules, patterns, expectations. Humans, we adapt. We improvise. That is our strength," Engineer Lila nodded. "And the ship helps us. The hull is repairing small damage on its own. Energy systems are adapting faster than I can program them." Elias smiled faintly. "That's the point. Every system in this ship works with us, not just for us. The Elbow of Fate isn't just a ship. It's part of the crew, and we are part of it." Pilot Joran grinned. "Feels like it has a mind of its own sometimes. Especially when it dodges things I didn't even see coming." Mara, watching the sensor readouts, added thoughtfully, "The aliens won't understand it. They can't predict how it moves, how it fights, and that is the advantage we have." Back on the alien flagship, Kor's engineers had begun studying the fragments of the destroyed scout ships. They were hoping to discover the secret of the human ship. What they found shocked them. "It's made of an unknown alloy," one officer reported. "It absorbs energy and repairs itself faster than our best technology. We cannot replicate it," Kor's eyes narrowed. "And its weapons? They are precise. Extremely precise. Small strikes hit critical points every time. Sensors suggest they are guided by a combination of AI and human decision-making. But we cannot explain the speed or timing." Kor's claws tapped the console impatiently. "It is not just a ship. It is a weapon, and it is smarter than we expected. Prepare the fleet for a new strategy. No more direct attacks. We will learn its weaknesses, or die trying." On the elbow of fate, the crew prepared for the next encounter. Every member was aware that the aliens would return with a stronger fleet. They checked weapons, shields, and engines. Every system was calibrated for maximum efficiency, but they also prepared contingency plans for unexpected situations. Captain Elias gathered the crew for a short briefing. "The aliens will not forget us," he said. "They will come back smarter, stronger, and more dangerous. But they cannot predict us. That is our advantage. Trust in the ship. Trust in each other. That is how humans survive." Mara looked at him. "They'll come in full force next time. Hundreds of ships, not just a few scouts. Can we handle that?" Elias smiled, calm and confident. "We can. They may have numbers, but we have speed, intelligence, and courage. And sometimes, one human's courage is worth more than 1,000 enemy ships." The humans' next move was daring. They had identified a lightly guarded supply route of the alien fleet. If disrupted, it could slow the Armada's operations and force them to divide their forces. Pilot Joran whispered, "This is risky, Captain. If they catch us, we'll be in serious trouble." Elias replied quietly, "Yes, but humans are best when risk is high. That is where courage meets opportunity." The elbow of fate slipped into the supply corridor undetected. Sensors confirmed the route was lined with alien transport ships carrying supplies, weapons, and energy cores. The humans prepared small targeted strikes designed to disable rather than destroy. "Remember," Elias instructed, "we make them think twice. Every move must surprise them." Hit and disappear. Hit and disappear, the attacks began. Small energy pulses disabled engines. Disruptors jammed communications. Human drones created decoys, leading alien patrols away from the real ship. In less than an hour, the supply route was crippled. Transport ships floated disabled in the void, while the elbow of fate had not suffered a scratch. In the alien command, panic was growing. Officers argued over what to do next. "Their ship, our tactics fail every time. They anticipate us, adapt faster than we can calculate, and yet it's only one ship. How is this possible?" Kor's mandibles clicked in frustration. "This is no ordinary opponent. They are clever, fearless, and human. Humans have always survived in impossible situations, but this is beyond anything I expected. Prepare a counterattack. We must find its weakness." The alien scientists studied the human ship's movements in detail. They tried predicting the humans' next strike, but every attempt failed. No pattern could match the improvisation and intuition guiding the elbow of fate. One officer said quietly, "Admiral, it's as if the ship is alive. Not alive like an animal, but it thinks with its crew. It adapts instantly." Kor's eyes glowed with determination. "Then we must learn how they think. Humans are unpredictable, yes, but humans also make mistakes, and we will wait for one." As the elbow of fate traveled further into alien-controlled space, Captain Elias reflected on the ship's origins. Earth had built this vessel in secret, blending technology, AI, and human ingenuity. Every part was tested under extreme conditions, every system designed to adapt. "This ship," he said softly to Lila, "is more than metal and circuits. It is a symbol of what humans can do when they are forced to survive. The aliens see only the firepower, not the mind behind it." Lila nodded. "And the crew makes it more than a machine. Every decision, every reaction, every moment of courage, it all matters," Mara added. "They won't understand until it's too late. We're teaching them a lesson, one strike at a time." Elias's eyes gleamed with resolve. "Exactly. Let's continue. Let's show them humans are not predictable, that even one ship with one crew can challenge the strongest armada in the galaxy." Suddenly, the sensors picked up movement. A small alien task force appeared ahead, guarding an energy relay station. The humans moved cautiously, analyzing the fleet's formation. Every ship in the task force was armed and ready. They expected an easy interception, but the elbow of fate had other plans. "Lieutenant Mara," Elias said, "create a false path. Make them chase shadows while we strike the core." Mara's fingers flew over the console. Decoy drones and energy signals created a convincing illusion. The alien ships moved toward the false targets, leaving the central relay station exposed. Elias gave the order. "Now, Joran, full speed. Target the relay." Pilot Joran maneuvered the ship with precision, weaving through narrow spaces between asteroids. The elbow of fate struck the relay with focused energy beams, disabling it in seconds. The aliens scrambled to respond, but the humans had already vanished, leaving only the wreckage behind. The crew exchanged quiet smiles. Another victory, achieved through careful planning, courage, and ingenuity. Back at the alien flagship, Kor slammed his claw on the console. This human is a puzzle. Every strike is calculated, every retreat is perfect. We cannot defeat them with strength alone. They are clever. Too clever. Prepare for another full assault, but we must be cautious. One mistake could cost us the entire fleet. Alien scientists continued studying the fragments of the previous battle. Every report emphasized the same truth. The human ship was adaptive, resilient, and unmatched in creativity. No strategy could reliably predict their actions. Kor's eyes narrowed. Then we wait, we study, and we strike when the human makes a mistake. That is the only way to win. The humans sailed further into the unknown, their reputation growing with each engagement. Across the galaxy, whispers spread of the small human ship that had outsmarted the mighty armada. The elbow of fate was becoming a symbol of human ingenuity, courage, and resilience. Captain Elias watched the stars, calm and determined. "The aliens will come again," he said, "and we will be ready. Humans are not the strongest in size, but we are clever, brave, and united. That is how we survive. That is how we win." The crew of the Elbow of Fate prepared for the battles ahead, knowing the alien armada would return with greater force. Yet they were confident. They had courage, intelligence, and the ship itself, an extension of their skill and will. And in the darkness of space, one fact remained clear: one human ship, with one crew, could change the course of an entire war. The alien armada had regrouped, its massive ships forming a nearly impenetrable formation. Admiral Kor's fury was matched only by his determination. The humans had destroyed his scouts, crippled his supply routes, and humiliated his officers. Now he would not allow them to escape a second time. All ships converge on the humans' last known position, Kor commanded, his claws drumming impatiently. "No hesitation, no mercy! This ship cannot be allowed to survive." Officers nodded nervously. They had seen the humans' ingenuity, their unpredictable movements, and their uncanny ability to anticipate attacks. Even the most experienced captains worried. But Kor's will was iron. "We strike as one. Surround them. Crush them." In the nebula near the outer edge of alien space, the Elbow of Fate drifted quietly. Captain Elias and his crew were preparing for the coming battle. Their sensors had detected the approaching armada. Hundreds of alien ships, larger and stronger than any they had faced before, were moving fast, forming tight attack patterns. Lieutenant Mara studied the displays. "They are coordinating perfectly. This is no longer a random attack. They have learned from our previous encounters. Their fleet is focused, precise, and relentless." Elias nodded calmly. "Good. That means our job is still the same. We have to outthink them, outmaneuver them. And remember, we do not fight like them. They use brute strength. We use brains, speed, and courage." Pilot Joran grinned. "Brains, speed, and courage. Sounds like our kind of fight, Captain." "Exactly," Elias replied. "Let's remind them why humans survive." The alien fleet entered the nebula, their weapons glowing and sensors scanning for the humans. They expected a small, predictable opponent. What they found instead was a series of calculated traps. The Elbow of Fate used the nebula's dense gas clouds to break sensor signals, moving unseen through the maze of stars. Drones and decoy signals created illusions of multiple ships, forcing the aliens to scatter their firepower. Each time the aliens adjusted, the humans had already moved. "Captain," Mara said, "they're trying to predict our path, but every time they change formation, we are one step ahead." Elias's eyes gleamed. "Then we keep moving. Let them chase shadows. Humans survive when we adapt faster than anyone expects." As the humans led the aliens deeper into the nebula, they reached a narrow field of asteroids. The humans used this to their advantage. While alien cruisers struggled to navigate the tight space, the Elbow of Fate darted between massive rocks, striking from angles the aliens could not anticipate. Engineer Lila monitored shields and energy outputs. "Shields holding steady, Captain. Weapons are ready. We can strike critical systems if we time it right." Elias nodded. "Then we strike. One precise blow can turn this battle." With perfect timing, the human ship fired energy pulses at the alien fleet's engines and weapon systems. Several cruisers were disabled instantly, spinning out of control and colliding with each other. Smaller vessels were caught in the chaos, leaving gaps for the humans to move freely. Admiral Corps' bridge was filled with alarms. Officers shouted over each other, trying to restore order. "They are inside the asteroid field," one cried. "Our ships cannot maneuver fast enough." Corps' mandibles clicked sharply. "Concentrate fire on the center. Do not let the human escape. Their cleverness will not save them this time." But the humans were ready. Pilot Joran twisted the ship through narrow passages weaving around rocks and debris. The ship's adaptive shields absorbed minor energy strikes while its weapons struck precisely at critical points of the alien vessels. Mara adjusted the decoy drones, creating false images of multiple ships. Alien ships fired at shadows while the real ship moved undetected. Elias watched it all unfold, calm and strategic. "Remember," he said, "we are humans. We survive with brains, courage, and unity. Every move counts. One mistake and we win." The battle escalated as the humans approached the alien fleet's command center. Hundreds of ships guarded the massive structure, their weapons glowing and shields ready. The elbow of fate moved like a shadow among giants, using stealth, speed, and intelligence to stay ahead of detection. "Captain, we are near the center," Mara said. "If we strike now, we can disable the command systems without destroying the station." "That would send a message," Elias nodded. "Exactly. We do not need to destroy everything. We need to show them humans are clever, precise, and fearless." The humans deployed small attack drones that targeted the energy relays of the command station. The aliens scrambled to respond, but their weapons were slow and predictable. Within minutes, the station's energy outputs were crippled, leaving its weapons offline. Admiral Corps' officers panicked. "The command station is offline. Our weapons cannot fire." Corps' eyes burned with fury. They are inside our formation. They are attacking from where we cannot reach them. Focus everything on the ship. Do not let it escape." But the elbow of fate was already gone. Using the asteroid field and nebula cover, the humans slipped out of the heart of the alien fleet, leaving chaos behind. The aliens were left stunned, their strongest ships disabled and their command disrupted. The humans gathered on the bridge, their faces tired but filled with determination. Captain Elias addressed the crew. "We did what we came to do. The command center is crippled and they have learned a lesson. Humans are not weak. We are clever, brave, and united. Remember this, crew. Our work is far from over, but today we made our mark." Pilot Joran leaned back in his seat, smiling. "I think they'll remember us now." Mara nodded. "They will. The story of the human ship will spread. One ship, one crew, causing chaos in their mighty armada. They cannot predict us, and that is our advantage." Engineer Lila added, "It is not just the ship. It is the crew, working together. That is why they failed to stop us." Elias smiled faintly. "Exactly. Humans survive because we think, adapt, and act together. Brute strength cannot defeat unity, courage, and intelligence." Across the galaxy, whispers of the elbow of fate began to spread. Alien species that had heard of the battle spoke cautiously of the small human ship that had outsmarted a vast armada. Even those who had never seen the humans in battle knew the name. Meanwhile, Captain Elias and his crew prepared for what was coming next. The alien fleet would regroup, repair, and come back stronger. But the humans were ready. They had courage, intelligence, and a ship that was more than metal. It was a partner in battle, an extension of their skill and will. "Captain," Mara said quietly, "they will not forget us. They will come back prepared and with more ships. Can we face them again?" Elias looked at her, calm and confident. "Yes, humans survive. And humans fight smarter than anyone expects. The elbow of fate will not just survive. We will make them rethink everything they know about humans." The crew exchanged determined looks. They were ready for whatever came next. The galaxy would remember their name. The elbow of fate was no longer just a ship. It was a symbol of human courage, intelligence, and perseverance. As the human ship sailed through the nebula, its energy systems humming quietly, Elias reflected on the journey so far. Humans were not the strongest in raw power. They did not have hundreds of ships or massive weapons capable of destroying worlds, but they had ingenuity, adaptability, and courage that no machine or alien fleet could match. "The aliens think they are the strongest," Elias said softly to himself, "but they have not faced humans like us. Not yet, and when they do, they will learn that one human, with one ship, can change the fate of an entire fleet." The crew of the Elbow of Fate prepared for the battles ahead, knowing that their greatest challenges were still to come. But together they were unstoppable. United by courage, skill, and trust in each other, they were ready to face any danger the galaxy could throw at them. And in the darkness of space, one truth shone brighter than any star. Humans survive. Humans adapt, and humans, no matter how small, can change the course of history. The alien armada would soon return, but by then, they would already know the legend of the Elbow of Fate, a single human ship that struck fear into the hearts of the galaxy's strongest forces. The alien armada had returned, larger and stronger than before. Admiral Kor's flagship glowed with energy as hundreds of ships formed a perfect battle formation around it. The humans had disrupted supply lines, crippled command stations, and humiliated the armada. Now Kor would not fail. All units surround the human ship, Kor commanded. Do not let it escape. Destroy it at all costs. The alien officers nodded. They had studied the previous encounters and believed they had found weaknesses to exploit, but they underestimated the humans' ingenuity. One small ship had become a symbol of fear across the fleet, and they still did not understand the humans' true power. Far away, in the shadow of a giant asteroid belt, the Elbow of Fate floated quietly. Captain Elias stood on the bridge, calm and focused. The crew worked efficiently, checking systems and weapons, preparing for the fight they knew was coming. Captain, Mara said, the armada is massive. Hundreds of ships. If they attack all at once? Elias nodded, his eyes scanning the displays. Then we make them think twice. Humans survive by using brains, courage, and unity. We will use all three. One ship, one crew. That is more than enough. Pilot Joran smiled. Ready to dance again, Captain? Elias chuckled softly. Ready to win, Joran, that is the plan. The aliens advanced, their weapons glowing and engines humming with destructive energy. But the humans had planned carefully. The Elbow of Fate moved through narrow asteroid corridors, using the terrain as cover. Drones created decoy signatures, confusing alien sensors. Small energy pulses disabled weapons on the first wave of attackers before they could react. Captain, Lila said, shields are holding. Weapons are ready. We can strike critical systems now. Elias nodded. Then we strike. Timing is everything. Watch the pattern, then hit where it hurts most. The human ship darted between the asteroids with perfect precision. Alien cruisers fired repeatedly, but each shot missed. Adaptive shields absorbed the small energy hits, while the Elbow of Fate's weapons found gaps in the alien defenses. Admiral Kor watched in fury as his fleet suffered losses again. Impossible, he shouted. This one ship? It moves where we cannot reach it. Focus all firepower on it. Officers tried to obey, but the humans were already moving. They struck critical energy conduits on alien capital ships, causing massive power failures. Explosions lit the void as some cruisers collided, while smaller vessels drifted disabled in space. Lieutenant Mara, Elias said, they are concentrating here. Draw them into the trap. Full speed. Joran twisted the controls, weaving the ship between asteroids and debris. The humans' decoys tricked the aliens into following the wrong path, leaving the real ship free to attack. One by one, alien ships fell victim to precise strikes. The heart of the alien fleet was approaching. The flagship of Admiral Kor, larger than any other ship in the Armada. It was heavily shielded and armed with the most powerful weapons. The humans knew that a direct attack would be impossible, but they had a plan. Engineer Leela, Elias said, prepare the quantum disruptor. This is the only way to disable the flagship without risking the ship. Timing must be perfect, Lila nodded. Systems are ready. Once we are in range, we can disable their shields temporarily. That will give us a window to strike their core. Mara studied the sensors. Captain, the flagship is moving through a narrow asteroid channel. It cannot maneuver well here. That is our chance, Elias smiled faintly. Exactly. One chance, one strike. Humans do not need more than that. The humans approached the flagship carefully. The Elbow of Fate moved silently through the debris, undetected despite the massive alien sensors. Then at the perfect moment, the quantum disruptor activated. Energy pulses swept through the flagship's shields, destabilizing them just enough. Now, Joran, Elias shouted. The ship darted forward at incredible speed, striking the flagship's energy core with precision energy beams. The massive ship shuddered as its systems overloaded. Explosions rippled through its hull as other alien ships tried to rescue it. The flagship was crippled, its power reduced to a fraction of its normal strength. Admiral Kor's mandibles clicked in disbelief. How is this possible? One ship against my flagship. The elbow of fate did not stop. Using the chaos, the humans disabled key systems on nearby cruisers, spreading confusion throughout the fleet. Alien formations broke apart as ships drifted powerless. Smaller vessels attempted to retreat, but drones and precise energy strikes made escape nearly impossible. Captain Elias watched it all calmly. Remember, he said, we do not need to destroy everything. We need to make them understand humans are clever, fearless, and united. That is enough, Mara nodded. They are learning. Every strike we make shows them they cannot predict us. Joran grinned. And we are just getting started. In the alien command, panic spread. Officers shouted orders trying to regroup their forces. Focus fire on the human, one cried. Concentrate everything we have. Kor's voice was low and dangerous. No, they are too clever. Every attack is anticipated. We cannot destroy them with numbers alone. Prepare for withdrawal, but study them. Learn their weaknesses. But the humans were gone. The elbow of fate had slipped silently through the remaining ships, leaving destruction in its wake. Alien vessels were scattered, damaged, and confused. The Armada had never faced an enemy like this, and they knew it. The humans gathered on the bridge, exhausted but victorious. Captain Elias addressed his crew. We did what we came to do. The flagship is crippled, the fleet is in chaos, and we have proven that humans survive where others fail. Remember this moment. Humans are clever, brave, and united. That is how we change the course of events. Engineer Lila smiled. We did it. One ship, one crew. We made them rethink everything. Pilot Joran leaned back, a triumphant grin on his face. They'll never forget this. The name, the Elbow of Fate, will echo across the galaxy. Mara nodded, her eyes bright with pride. We are humans, and humans survive. That is our greatest strength. Elias looked out at the stars, calm but determined. They may come again, but they will always remember this. Humans are unpredictable, fearless, and clever. That is our gift, and that is why we survive. Across the galaxy, the legend of the Elbow of Fate spread. Alien fleets whispered the name in fear and awe. Stories of a single human ship challenging the mightiest armada traveled faster than any weapon. It became a symbol, not just of courage, but of intelligence, unity, and resilience. The humans knew the battle was not the end. Other fleets would come, other threats would rise. But the crew of the Elbow of Fate had proven one truth. Size, numbers, and firepower alone could not defeat ingenuity, courage, and unity. Captain Elias turned to his crew. Today we made our mark. Tomorrow we will continue to protect humanity. And one day the galaxy will understand. Never underestimate a human. The crew nodded. They were tired, but their spirits were high. They had faced impossible odds, survived, and left a lasting impression on the galaxy. The Elbow of Fate sailed on, silent and unassuming, but with the power of human ingenuity, courage, and unity behind it. In the darkness of space, one truth shone brighter than any star. Humans survive, humans adapt, and humans, no matter how small, can change the course of history. And the legend of the Elbow of Fate would echo through the stars forever.